Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. We have with us Delegate Brian Chisholm.
Good to be here.
And we have a very special podcast. We're calling it Jared DeMariachi. That's right, Jared DeMariachi. What does that mean? Well, the State Board of Elections is run by a gentleman named Jared DeMarinis. He's a very nice guy, Brian.
Yes.
But I remember when I was on Ways and Means, and Jared would come to Ways and Means, which, by the way, deals with election law, voter ID and all that stuff. And he would always testify for Democrat bills. But he's supposed to be independent, right? But he would always testify for their bills, and increasingly in Maryland, we know that illegals are on the voter rolls, and Jared won't allow that to happen, Brian. So we're calling this podcast Jared DeMariachi, and for a good reason. And we have a little clip for you right now so that you can see what Jared looks like. And here it is.
We had over 150,000 voters participate in early voting throughout the 8 days. The last day was the heaviest volume with over 35,000 people. There was, I would say, I haven't looked at all the numbers there, but on the last day as well, we had over 110 people that weren't registered that were able to vote on the same day. So
Brian, what do you think about this?
It reminds me kind of like what Oprah went, you get a car, and you get a car. It's like, you get a voter registration, you get a voter registration, you get a voter registration. And not only do you just get one, in the state of Maryland, we passed a law, you get them forever. Once you request a mail-in ballot, you stay on that list forever.
So we should ask Jared. Okay, Jared, we know your last name is DeMarinis, but why don't you testify or speak publicly about the fact that we should have voter ID, we should have in-person voting? Mailing a ballot out en masse is not a good idea because Maryland has ballot harvesting, by the way, Brian, which means that people can knock on your door and say, hey, have you voted? And you're like, no, but I got my ballot. Are you going to? I'm not sure. The ballot harvester can take that ballot and mark it for the person with their direction, of course. But a lot of cases, people are like, mark it however you want to. I don't really care. So the person who's supposed to be voting isn't voting. And DeMarinis never actually talks about this. He's like, oh, that's not happening. Really? Brian, he also said we don't have illegals on the voting rolls. And he also won't allow ICE to vet Maryland's voting rolls to make sure we have no more illegals who are on it.
Yeah, you think you would want to prove that they're not on there, but the first thing you do is say, no, you can't look at this. I promise you there's no illegals on here. But it's just amazing to me. And you and I both know they...
Wait a minute, Brian, I have to interrupt you for a minute. We have to show the video again. Here it is.
Well, we had over 150,000 voters participate in early voting throughout the 8 days. The last day was the heaviest volume with over 35,000 people. There was, I would say, I haven't looked at all the numbers there, but on the last day as well, we had over 110 people that weren't registered that were able to vote on the same day. So,
all right, Brian, what do you think?
We don't need no stinky voter ID. I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, you can, and like Jared is a nice guy. Jared is never, ever, I'll guarantee you this, Matt.
He is.
I mean, Mark,
he is a nice guy.
He is never, ever gone in that state house without showing his ID. He's never testified in your committee without showing his ID. And you and I laughed about this year. I see this big poster up there. We have what's called district nights. And it was, I can't remember a district. I don't want to pick somebody. And it said, come join us, meet your delegate, meet your senator. Photo ID required. I'm like, so to meet the people passing these laws, you need a photo ID.
Well, that's right.
But
sorry, I can't stop laughing. And once again, Jared is doing his job. And what the way this works is these folks who are appointed in these very important jobs ultimately are working for the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is so firmly in control of every aspect of state government that they won't hold a principled position, which is how do we make elections so secure that people believe and understand and really are vested in the idea that their elections are safe, secure, and fair. And the thing is as long as you don't have voter ID, as long as you don't have in-person voting, and as long as you have illegals on your voting rolls, no one's going to believe the election is fair.
Because you and I both know this. So in the state of Maryland, it is almost impossible. And Jared will tell you this. It is almost impossible to come off the voter list.
Yes.
So once you're on there forever. So they send out letters to make sure you live at this address, but then that letter comes back with a yellow tag on it. And there's literally tens of hundreds of thousands at the Board of Elections.
Yes.
That are piled up in a corner, and people know those names and those addresses.
Yes.
They stay on the voter list unless somebody writes a letter in and says, take me off the list.
My son's been living in New York City for years and years, okay? And we still receive his ballot every single election for the absentee ballot, which he could cast. He doesn't. He could cast it.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, the superintendent of Des Moines, Iowa Public Schools was registered in Maryland and is an illegal alien. I mean, but go ahead,
It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake that he registered illegally and became a Democrat.
And we're going to close this podcast out with Jared DeMariachi with another video of, the mariachi band. Here it is.
Well, we had over 150,000 voters participate in early voting throughout the 8 days. The last day was the heaviest volume with over 35,000 people. There was, I would say, I haven't looked at all the numbers there, but on the last day as well, we had over 110 people that weren't registered that were able to vote on the same day. So,
see you next time.